Hello guys, this is Damage.K2, and as promised, this is the new air heavy cruiser I've been working on. The Repentless Heavy Air Cruiser. As you can see, it's another design that's loosely based off of Warhammer 40k. I got the name from a song by a thrash metal band from the 80s called Slayer. If you never heard of them, I highly recommend you check them out, especially if you're into heavy metal, like I am. But anyway, let's have a look at it. So here up front, we have these two large missile tubes. Just a couple of large HE missiles. Radar guidance, nothing too special. Had to tweak them a little bit to make sure that they got out correctly and actually did what they were supposed to do. Other than that, not too many troubles with them. And this down here, this cannon is a 500mm 6-meter autoloader APS. I think I'm on a spin blanket or something. Trying to show you guys the stats here. Okay, so yeah, really big gun. Awesome fire rate on it. 44.1. And I'm going to show you the shells here in a sec. They're actually on the inside of the turret, so that way they're always easy to find. We have a mix of these hollow point shells here, along with a mix of these Hesh heat shells. As you can imagine, it just spits them out in a pretty insane rate. Let's bring the structural blocks back. I was trying to make the front of this look like a ram's head. I think I did okay for the most part. The horns were especially a pain in the butt to do. So, yeah. Okay, so here's a bit of an oddity with this one. You may have noticed it last time that I got rid of the structural blocks, but there's only guns on one side. And that's because these guns here, they take up like the whole width of the ship practically. These are 333mm APS cannons that all fire a Hesh shell, which is right here. It doesn't have to go very far. This thing is designed to engage at a very close range, so yeah, no big deal there. And it kicks about at a pretty awesome rate here. Yeah, 78 RPM. Thing is very nasty. And there's 8 of these. I'll let you do the math on how much that's going to be kicking out shells there. Alright, so moving on. We got pretty fuel efficient engine up here. I think this one gets about 300 power per... No, this is one of the fancier ones. Yeah, this thing gets almost 9,600 power per fuel. It's going to go into battery charging whenever this thing's in combat. And the batteries here, and you saw them on the other side over here, that's basically to provide emergency power and try to fill power gaps, because I designed this to kind of bob up and down a bit, and it makes the power fluctuate pretty wildly. So yeah. And this over here, it's a less efficient engine. I believe I got this from the useful engine platform. As you can see, it can make a pretty good amount of power. I've been happy with it so far. And this thing doesn't kick on unless there is an enemy within range, and these ACBs right here control it. It completely shuts it off until there's an enemy present. That way I could save fuel. Alright, so what else do I got to show you guys? We have a couple of these little GWAS control turrets. Basically, they just had like 2 missile interceptors. I thought they turned out looking okay. You could put them in like a 5x5. They'll take out a few missiles. Nothing really special though. And you guys probably noticed this big old laser down here. It does some pretty good damage per shot. 6,600 roughly at 200 AP, and I have it that high because that way in this version, this will just slice right through smoke. It won't care about smoke at all. And it's a single Q laser, which I like to use a lot on my designs because it's like having a railgun that can do hit scan in this version of the game, and I really like that. But as you can see, it takes up a little bit of real estate. Okay, so moving on. This is another engine that I stuck in here specifically to power that laser. It's one of the more fuel-efficient ones, as you can see. There's about 8k power. I think the laser needs like about, what, 600 power? Oh no, way less. Never mind, 4,200. But there's no harm in that, having a little extra power. Not at all. So let's move on here. We'll have a look at this laser turret here on top. No, I don't want to create a prefab. It's a 2-axis laser turret. Nothing too special about it. It took a while to get a decent shape. Well, I consider it decent, at least. It takes a little bit of time for it to recharge for the next shot, but it performs pretty well. Primarily meant for an AA roll, but it does decent damage to other large vessels and surface craft, so yeah. And we have some more of Rizal's missiles here. I like to use them on just about every design because they do pretty good damage, generally, to about everything besides submarines. It's pretty much an anti-everything missile. And it does pretty decent against aircraft, too. I've seen it hit tachyons without too much trouble. Alright, so moving on once again. We got this gun here, or set of guns anyway. Let me change them. There we go, that's driving me crazy. So this is a twin 400mm turret. There we go. Okay. Really good rate of fire of 43 per gun. And this also uses the Heshit shells paired up with the hollow point explosive. Yeah, there's the Heshit. And here is the hollow point. And there is a second one down here at the bottom. It's essentially the same thing, just flipped upside down. That's the only main difference. And on the left and right sides, we have these 400mm Flex Siwas. Pretty good rate of fire, 87.3. Pretty satisfied with it. They're the same on either side. Down here we have another engine. I believe that's from Gulliby's Useful Engine platform. It was kind of a pain to try to get this vented right. I was super worried about this getting cut off and the engine just burning up, but it seems to do okay. One problem that I was having is I would be taking Hessian heat rounds, like right about where the cursor is, and it would set this thing off and then blow up this engine. You just have like a giant gaping crater in the side of this airship, and not enough engine power to keep it in the air. So, yeah. I fixed that problem since then, though, of course. Just stacked up more heavy armor on the inside. Not an issue anymore. What else can I show you guys? I guess I could show you the stats on this engine real quick. It has the same ACB set up to turn off and on. Gives us an extra almost 20,000 power. And these numbers aren't quite accurate because they're basically turned off for the moment, so take that with a grain of salt. We have some torpedoes here. Do pretty good explosive damage. I try to put torpedoes on everything because every now and then you'll just run into a ship that sinks below, or sinks before it hits 80 and below. So yeah, you need to pepper them with torpedoes once they get there. The bulwark in this version is really notorious for that. And if you'll notice here on the back, I did a little bit of work here to make the engines look really interesting. Just had like some turbines on spin blocks. And I got smaller ones up here. And some over here. This all this right here, that's just deco, and the armor is significantly weaker. Got alloy, 2 layers of metal, and metal poles to catch any spalling. It'll take a few hits, but it's not meant to take sustained damage. Not really a whole lot to say about the bridge. It's pretty basic at the moment. You should know that this is a very, very unfinished airship. So, okay, here they are. These are just some distraction sticks. I kept having issues with them dipping into the water when the airship's dragging them around. So I had to put a variable thruster in a fuel tank so that they would be held up in the air for a little while. They're both set up like that. They work okay for the most part. Flexi was that'll probably take out a good portion of the missiles anyway. Something interesting to note that this thing has no lambs at all, and it does surprisingly well. I've seen it solo it here. I was pretty proud of that, and I was just shocked at how much materials you could save by just doing a one-sider like this. I've never tried it in this kind of setup before, but I'm glad I did. I might try something a little later on, something fairly similar, but using cram cannons, like a light cruiser, maybe with 4 guns on the left or right side, I don't know yet. But those are going to take up about the same amount of real estate as these. So, we'll just have to wait and see what I come up with. Anyway, I think that's probably a good stopping point for that. Hope you enjoyed the tour. And I tell you what, guys, if I could get another 10 likes on this video, I will finish it up and put it on the workshop. Alright, so now let's get back on to the build of the Sleipnir Gunship. Alright, so here we are, back working on the gunship. Last time around, we started some AI settings, forward-facing hover AI. We added 2 engines, we made the gunship fly, we added a bunch of missiles, some 100mm cannons, we armored up the 500mm APS, added the laser parts, did some early combat testing, some thrusters for rearward movement, started a suite for the AI, We added some detection to the wings, added ammo processors. We found a permanent place to put the ammo storage. We fixed the spin block wings. We added the forward turning thrusters. Added a bunch of material storage. We had to put some constraints on the 500mm APS because it's shooting the cockpit. Did some AI tweaking. And after that recap, this time we have a little more hull work. I expanded the AI. I redid the gun housing on the 500mm by 6m APS. Did a little more AI tweaking, some additional combat testing, added 2 more engines. I added more armor to the bottom of the gunship, added more fuel. I set up some distraction sticks, added ACBs to control the engines. Basically what I do on a lot of craft is I have 2 types of engines. I have a type that is specifically for doing like really light duty work. Those are for more efficient fuel engines, and those run constantly out of combat. And in combat I have ACBs to turn on less fuel but more power dense engines, so that way I can save fuel and in the long run materials. It's a really cool trick. Might want to try it. Anyway, we added some decorative turbines to the engines, and we added some more detection equipment. We added the shielding and a bunch of surge protectors to protect the shielding. I did some mech work. We added some roll thrusters to the wingtips of the gunship, and we added another 200mm APS one to either wing. And yeah, I think that wraps up everything that I added to it in this video. Hope you guys enjoyed the air cruiser. Yeah, if I can just get another like 10 likes on this video, I'll finish her up and put her on the workshop for you guys to play with. With all that said, I'd like to thank you all for watching. If you like what you've seen here, let me know with a like, comment, or even a better subscription. Have yourselves a hell of a day, and keep your hammer high. Later.